Cigarettes kill millions, everyone knows it. In recent years, a savior arrived, the vape. Tobacco companies marketed it as the healthier option, a way out for smokers, a harmless hobby for newcomers. But what if it was all a lie? What if vapes are just as deadly or even worse? What if big tobacco found a way to hook a whole new generation? This industry skyrocketed from $0 to $28 billion in just a few years. How did they pull it off? The truth is more shocking than you think, and it might already be in your pocket, or even in your kid's backpack. For 80 years, tobacco companies have been masters of deception. Their playbook? Manipulate at all costs. In the 1940s, public health concerns about the risks of smoking started to arise. To combat this, brands hired doctors and dentists to ensure their products' safety. Imagine your doctor recommending and even partaking in poison. R.J. Reynolds started the More Doctors Smoke Camels campaign, a deceitful way to allude to health risks.
In a nationwide survey, doctors in all branches of medicine were asked, "What cigarette do you smoke, doctor?" The brand named most was Camels. Tens of thousands of doctors, general practitioners, surgeons, specialists, doctors in every branch of medicine were included. And according to this nationwide survey, more doctors smoke Camels than any other cigarette. Try Camels yourself, the cigarette so many doctors enjoy.
In the 1950s and 60s, tobacco moved to television. Companies bought TV programs and enlisted the help of celebrities in their ad campaigns, such as Lucille Ball from I Love Lucy. It was also at this time that the Marlboro Man was created. Medical concerns about the dangers of smoking led companies to start making what we know as filtered cigarettes. When Marlboro rolled out their new cigarettes with filters, it was considered sissy and feminine to smoke them. But the Marlboro Man, as a character, brought in an exponential number of new male smokers by selling this fantasy of masculinity. Millions of men bought in and paid with their lives. But the real danger in tobacco marketing, and one that they've continued today in vaping, is their history in marketing towards children. In the 1990s, customers created cartoon characters, the most famous of which being Joe Camel. What started as a character for Camel's 75-year anniversary in 1988 became the company's main mascot in advertisements and marketing. By 1991, it was reported that adolescents could recognize Joe Camel even easier than Fred Flintstone or Mickey Mouse. However, they didn't stop there. Heading into the 21st century, video games were now the new targeted industry. Teenagers would buy big legacy titles like Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, featuring lots of characters smoking cigarettes without the proper warnings or denouncements. According to the Tobacco Settlement Endowment Trust, 42% of all video games contained images of tobacco, but only about 8% had warnings about tobacco-related content. Throughout history, the tobacco industry has been known to have no bounds with their marketing. With the rise of vapes and e-cigarettes, their strategy hasn't really changed. When tobacco companies switched their focus towards e-cigarettes and vapes, their marketing strategy started by promoting them as a healthier alternative to tobacco products. It started when vaping entered the industry in the early 2000s as an alternative to smoking cigarettes and to help smokers to quit. Now, the first vape that was available, commercially that is, was created by a Chinese pharmacist by the name of Hon Lik in 2003. He was motivated by his difficulties in quitting tobacco and his own concern for his father's lung cancer after being a lifetime smoker himself. Now, they first appeared in Beijing and then they moved to global retails around 2007, and in 2008, Health New Zealand conducted several analyses of e-cigarettes and found that their levels of carcinogens and toxins are hundreds of degrees lower than those found in cigarettes. From that one study, they were deemed a healthy alternative. Tobacco companies saw that green light and they just ran with it. After Hon Lik's first generation e-cigarettes, the second gen soon popped up with increased battery power. These vapes were also sold as open systems, allowing the user to switch the tank of an e-liquid. This also made mixing flavors and nicotine strengths possible. Then, in 2015, JUUL entered the market with a pod-based system and a rechargeable USB port. They became the most popular as it resembled the same strength of nicotine as a cigarette without the harmful smoke. So how did branding change to lure in new customers? In the beginning, they allowed word of mouth to propel the business forward. Communities created vape shops, lounges, and events surrounding their new identity as vapors instead of smokers. They even hosted retreats and festivals. Imagine if Coachella was called Vapechella. From there, companies started their rebranding by saying it was time to switch to vapes from cigarettes. Now, the FDA in America has banned companies from calling their products smoking cessation devices, unless they've been proven like nicotine patches. So companies start using buzzwords and synonyms instead. Switching to e-cigarettes and vapes as a smoking alternative allows the companies to work around these rules that they're working through. Blue e-cigarettes made this the center of their campaigns. Companies also use psychology to market vaping as the right way to quit while curbing nicotine cravings. While nicotine gums and patches were viable options to reduce tobacco smoking, smokers preferred the ritualistic feel of a vape. It's something to hold in your hands and give a satisfying puff of air like a cigarette. Companies started reflecting this in their advertisements. Blue focused on the freedom of e-cigarettes, while still having the ability to smoke wherever and whenever. They also pay homage to old ads like Smoking in Style to show the same appeal of smoking a cigarette without the tobacco. Tobacco and vape companies often market their products as stress relievers. They suggest using these products to help you relax after a long day. However, this claim is misleading. Here's what's really happening. Nicotine is addictive. When you use it regularly, your body becomes dependent on it. When you go without nicotine for a while, you may experience withdrawal. These can include irritability, anxiety, restlessness, any number of things. Using a vape or cigarette provides nicotine which temporarily relieves these withdrawal symptoms. This relief can feel like relaxation. However, this isn't true relaxation. It's just satisfying a craving in your body that you've developed over time. And this cycle can reinforce the false belief that vaping or smoking is actually helping with stress. In reality, nicotine increases heart rate and blood pressure, potentially adding to physical stress. Companies are aware of this cycle and use it in their marketing despite knowing that it doesn't actually provide you any genuine stress relief. Blue had an Instagram campaign in which they posted their vape sitting in the sand on a sunny day. JUUL started the hashtag JUUL moment, so users could post vacation photos while using the product. Moti is probably the largest culprit in promoting its product as a tool for relaxation. Again, on Instagram, its campaigns, promotional photos, they show the vape next to a tea and candles, stating that vaping will improve insomnia. Not only was vaping becoming a safe product, but one that allowed users to de-stress. This lie and deception unfortunately also led to a rise in teenagers and young adults vaping, especially during the pandemic. The Truth Initiative's research revealed that in 2021, 81% of e-cigarette users said that they began to vape to relax and reduce stress. Half of them said that they needed the vape to cope with anxiety and stress and depression. These ads find children and teenagers everywhere, ushering in a new generation of vapers. While cigarette advertising was banned on television in 1971, e-cigarettes have found the internet to be a place where their marketing can thrive. Companies are also using social media to infiltrate children's use of the internet. They target these demographics with influencers. A former employee from JUUL shared that their marketing team built their campaign around influencers and their impact on kids. They stated, "We partnered with fashion people and celebrities to promote content on social media networks like Instagram. They were going to get young influencers, people that have a big following, and they were going to host parties." Marketing was gaining so much momentum, it was able to go unchecked. So social media influencers, either being sponsored by vape companies or simply using them in their content, have led children to trust their endorsement. From models like Bella Hadid to YouTubers like Emma Chamberlain, they all add to this illusion of safety. There was a time when smoking was at an all-time low and dwindling before the commercialization of vaping products. However, recreational vaping and smoking are still popular because of all the lies that are being sold to the consumers. Even though the risks are now well known, marketing is a powerful tool that can allow users of vapes to just ignore concerns. Quote, "It's a healthier option than smoking," or "It helps calm me down," are classic excuses that tobacco companies have placed in people's minds. It's gotten to the point where these brands don't need to do any marketing. The word of mouth that got them started continues to perpetuate these myths. The fact is that researchers still don't know the long-term effects of vaping, and it took decades to discover them with smoking. However, we do know that vaping can lead to the same risk factors of cancer and disease as smoking does. Smoking cigarettes, and now, for over 15 years, vaping e-cigarettes, has been established as unhealthy vices. But tobacco companies still use white lies to sugarcoat the truth. The next time you walk into a convenience store and you see an e-cigarette ad, you'll be able to recognize the strategies these companies use to get another dollar out of your pocket.